Hey, good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 27th. So, what I thought I'd talk to you guys about today, and that is politics. When and where it's okay to discuss politics. And then the other thing is on helping out people, because right now there's a lot of people struggling, a lot of small families. And we have to take care of our young and we need to take care of our old, period. And there's certain ways that we can do that. And then lastly, paying it forward. And I'll go more into that when we get there. So let's start with politics. Where is a good place and when is a good place to discuss politics? What I can tell you is, and this is my own opinion, don't pick a candidate for anything with your business involved. And what am I saying? I'm saying that if you're in business and you're trying to help the people in your community, then you need to concentrate on that. The last thing you want to do is have your shop become political. And what do I mean by that? I mean having Trump signs on the front of your building, or Bidenomics, or what have you. Right down to the local elections for highway superintendent in your area. And why do I say that? And I know some of you guys are saying, well, we have the right to our own political view. I totally 100% agree with that. But not so much at your business site. I have my own thoughts and opinions on people that are running the country, running the state, running the local area. And that's my right to have those views. And you have those rights as a business owner to present those views as well at your business. But to me, it's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. And why do I say that? I say that because our government, Republicans and Democrats, those little rat bastards, have made everything so divisive that they've turned friends, family, neighbors on each other. And they could care less, because as long as everybody's fighting, they can do what the hell they want. And with a politician, it's the only job I know that that you could say whatever you wanted to say, promises, and then never fulfill. And it's just like here at the shop. If somebody came in with their lawnmower and I told them, oh, hell yeah, I can fix that. I'm going to do it above and beyond what you think it needs to get done, and a third of the cost, and blah, blah, blah. And then leave it parked out there where they left it. 3 months later, the customer comes back. Do you think they're going to be happy with me? But we let our politicians get away with it. The only group of people that are almost as bad as a politician as the weatherman, but at least they have a 50% chance of getting it right, right? Look outside. But no, what ends up happening is I've seen this so many times. And I see it with these celebrities. And I see it with these influencers. I see it with everybody is making things political. And a lot of people are turned off. Okay? I always said that when you hear all this stuff that's going on, you know, you are hearing the minority, not the majority. You're hearing the minority crying and screaming that they're not getting their way, basically. So if you want to be heard, you have to scream louder than the person next to you. What I can tell you is that politicians aren't going to listen to you. They're going to listen to the lobbyists that are standing behind them, like the fellow that just, I can't remember his name, it was on the news there, where they found that he had gold and cash, $500,000 in a jacket, and somebody bought him a brand new car, and must be nice to have those friends, huh? But they're paying him to do something or to do nothing, one or the other. But the reason I say keep politics out of the business part is because you will end up alienating half of your customer base. And that's why I say you're shooting yourself in the foot. People just want to come to your shop to get your lawnmower fixed, weed eater fixed, chainsaw fixed. They don't need to be bombarded about political crap. And that means when they come in the door and they're talking with you or your employees, we stay neutral. Honest to God, we do. Because I do not want to alienate half my customers over crap that neither one of us have any control over. We don't. We have the right to vote. Each one of us has one vote. And that's the only way you're going to change things. But if that customer comes in and disagrees with your views, you've just lost that customer. And word gets around. You know, that's why I scratch my head when you get these big corporations, you get these Hollywood stars, you get these influencers, you get everybody is jumping into the political realm. Everything from trying to sell a beer because they want to do the right thing, to peddling to your base, if you're an influencer, something that you probably could care less about, but you're trying to get more views or get more money. What I can tell you is these influencers are getting paid money, or they wouldn't be doing it. So stay out of politics when it comes to your business, unless you don't care about the other half of the community that you're in. I mean, I know families that you can't even sit down at the dinner table and discuss politics. I'm telling you right now. I've seen families get into shouting matches over it. But what I'm not saying is that you, on a personal level, not to have whatever views you feel is important to you. And I'm not saying to orientate the business based on what you're seeing in the wind when it comes to political stuff. Because you have 100% every right to have your own views. And again, you have 100% every right to have your own views plastered all over your business. But this is going to be the consequences of doing so. You're going to alienate up to half of your customer base that you could have or maybe have and will walk. I'm telling you. People are tired of hearing about politics. They're tired of being lied to. What people do know is that their money it's not going as far as it used to. Everything's gone up. And the middle class and below are the ones that are paying the price. They're struggling the hardest. And that's who my customers are middle, and down. I have a couple that are well-to-do, but for the most part, it's middle and down. So that's my view on when to be and when not to be political. You know, I guess you could say, well, if somebody's running for highway superintendent and there's two people, why not just post both of them out there? Because people do not want to be bombarded with anything more political crap when they're trying to get their lawnmower fixed. If I had them ask me if it was okay, I would say, we're going to pass as far as a business. Now, if you two want to put a yard sign up to my house and put one on one side of the driveway and one on the other side of the driveway so it shows that I support both of you, you're both good candidates, fine. But not at the shop. We don't do that at the shop. All right, so I'm saying to take care of the young and take care of the old. And when I'm saying that, the ones that are getting hurt the most in this economy, I mean, it's not good for any of us that I know of. But the ones that seem to be getting hurt the most are elderly folks, and then our young couples or young people that haven't been able to get established yet, and they're just paycheck to paycheck. And actually, from what I've been watching on the news and talking with other people, is that they're using their credit cards for their basic needs of food, shelter, and they're racking up credit card debt like crazy. Because what they have for income doesn't cover what is going out. And it was by no fault of their own. You could say it's their fault that they could go without food or they could be homeless, and that way they could avoid credit card debt. But it's not their fault. You know, I know guys that are middle to upper middle class that run up credit card debt and then just file bankruptcy. It's a common occurrence every 7-9 years, whatever it is. That's different. But when I see people get in over their heads, and it's all due to the economy and inflation, then we as business owners need to somehow reduce what they have going out. If you can. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not saying to work for free, okay? But if been in business for a while, you know your local community. And I'll tell you right now, you know, and this kind of goes to the next step, the segment of paying it forward. I have 6 or 7 that are 70 and older on a fixed income, and all they're getting is just their Social Security. And one is a good neighbor right across the road, and he's 85, and he gets a little over $600 a month in Social Security, and that's all of the income that he's got. What we do here at the shop, and my employees are as involved as I am when it comes to this, is we either charge them a little bit of nothing, or we just do it for free to help them out. And we've done this with the younger couples over the years as well, because they're just trying to get started. And they don't have a savings account built up. They don't have a 401k built up. And they're trying to make crap run. So you as a shop owner can do a couple things to help alleviate some of the pressure that's on those two groups. And that is to either pro bono or at a reduced rate. Now, this day and age, McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. And to me, $15 an hour is a pretty good chunk of change. But the difference is, and this is what gets me, and most people don't understand that, is the hourly rate has to go up because everything else has gone up. I don't know if you understand that. It's not about what somebody's worth when it comes to deciding what an hourly rate is. I mean, I can remember when gas was less than 50 cents a gallon. You could buy a candy bar for 10, 15 cents. But at the time, the wages, if you were getting $5 to $7 an hour, you were doing good. Now, take that and now jump to what it is that a candy bar sells for. And I can tell you right now, because I looked at one yesterday when I was in Lowell's, and they wanted $2.29 for a candy bar. $2.29. So if you did the math, if it cost 10 cents and wages were 5 to 6, where should wages be based on what businesses are charging for stuff? See, that's the biggest problem, is the middle class and down have been left behind. You know, the wages have been stagnant, but everything around them is going up. At least with Social Security, those folks, if inflation goes up, then there's an adjustment for cost of living goes with it. If there's no inflation or low inflation over a set period of time, then there's no raises to the Social Security. Makes sense. It's one thing the government got right. But you have to take care of your community. And you know the people I'm talking about. I've taken a young couple that went out and bought a POS, a piece of, and that's all they could afford, but they can't get it running. And I've looked out, and we do buy and sell riding lawnmowers, used ones. Or if we get a couple of them in, we could take 3, make 1, stick it out front for a few extra bucks. We've done that for years. And I do that on tractors as well. But more than once I've taken the young couple aside and said, look, here's the deal I'm going to make with you. I'll take your lawnmower in trade, which the lawnmower wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have, it would have gone for scrap. That's how bad it was. And I'll sell you this lawnmower. And when we send out a lawnmower used that we're selling used, we have to stand behind it. So we do go through it. And I figure out, what have I got in costs? Break it down. How much is the least I can take and break even? And on some of those lawnmowers, I've taken it down below break even, because you have to help your community. So we take their lawnmower in trade, throw it up in the boneyard, set them up with this one, and then we set them up with payments we knew they could afford. And I went into it with the idea that if they didn't pay for the lawnmower, it wasn't the end of the world. Because if any of you folks have got if you're not co-opted and you're trying to advertise your business, what's the best way to advertise your business? It's through word of mouth. And I guarantee you that these young couples and the older folks are going to tell their friends about how great you treated them, and that you're a good company to deal with. What I've found over the years, so that any of you guys sitting there worried, well, I'm not going to have them take something and not pay for it, What I have found over the 40 years of doing business is the ones that have the least amount of money are the ones that are more likely to pay you what is owed than someone that has the money. And you guys have seen this before. You get those guys that come in that are wealthy, or in our neighborhood, if you got a new car and stuff like that, you're classified as wealthy. But I have more problems trying to get it out of the folks that I know have it than I do out of the folks that don't have it. Because the ones that don't have it understand what it's like to go without and not have something. So they're more inclined to make sure that they pay you. And that goes for the elderly as well. All right. Paying it forward. What do I mean by that? Well, an example. Yesterday morning we had a young fellow show up. He was all sweat. And he said he was on his way to work. And the truck ran out of gas. The gas gauge doesn't work. And could he get a gallon of gas to get to the closest gas station? Which, for me, it's about 8 miles. So I said, where are you? He said, well, I'm about a mile and a half, 2 miles down the road. I said, get in the truck. So we went down, and he's a nice kid. But I knew he had little to no money. And he was struggling just trying to get to work and covering fuel and stuff. So I went ahead and I put 2.5 gallons, half a 5-gallon jug, a little over half, into his truck. And he's trying to pay me for the gas. He's trying to overpay me for the gas. He had 3 $5 bills left to his name. And I'm telling him, how are you going to get gas at the gas station if you give me that for the 2.5 gallons I've got? And he just sat there kind of. So I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. You put that money back in your pocket and get to the gas station and put gas in your vehicle. Here's what I ask, is if you see somebody else on the side of the road that needs help, you damn well better stop and help them. And that's what we call paying it forward in our area. And he's like, people like you are few and far between. And we need more people like you. I said, well, if you start being like me, then there's one more person that's willing to help other people. And we have to do that in business. We have to do things not because it's making us money or it's getting us work, or you need to do things because it's the right thing to do. And you know it's the right thing to do. Here at our shop, I've only had one theft since 2006. Yeah, just one. And that was one night in the middle of the night. There was snow on the ground. Cameras saw it, but you couldn't pick out who it was. But they had a battery-operated sawzall, and they cut the catalytic converter off our work truck because it was worth money. And we later found out who it was, because word gets around. And they needed it for drugs. Yeah, even in the rural area, we have drug issues now. Used to be, pot was as serious as you got. Now these guys crack, and you don't even know if it's laced with fentanyl or what have you. But the reason that we don't have any theft of anything on our property is because everybody knows me. And everybody knows that before you become a thief, come talk to me. If you're struggling because you need some money to pick up groceries for you and the kids, the family, come talk to me. If you need it to help cover a little bit of your rent because you haven't got enough, or your mortgage, come talk to me. If you have a valid reason, please come talk to me. Well, what I will not support, and I do this on an individual basis, and this is how I deal with it, I will not support somebody's drug habit, alcoholic, drinking habit, or gambling. If you're doing one of the three, doesn't matter how much money you got, you're looking for your next high. And I am not going to be the one to help you on that endeavor. Anything else, come talk to me. And that's worked. And yes, I've helped out a lot of people over the years. Everything from covering fuel for folks going and receiving cancer treatments, lodging for cancer treatments, help to pay somebody's rent so they don't get evicted, to just gas money and grocery money. And I don't ask these people to pay me back. I have the luxury of being able to help people out when it comes to things like that, and it makes me feel good inside that I'm doing something for somebody else instead of just trying to take care of myself, and to hell with everybody else. So on that note, leave your comments, what's your take on things, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. just a different day. All right.